Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Titan Sports. I'm Francisco Molina.
Hey, everyone. I'm Colin Costigan.
And I'm Eddie Bruegger. We're here to get the ball rolling to provide you with your weekly sports updates. Welcome to Titan Sports.
As the NCAA basketball conference tournament comes to a close, the madness will arise. With the March Madness tournament approaching, there's an estimate of $2.7 billion to be wagered on both on the NCAA men's and women's basketball tournament, according to American Gaming Association. This estimate is almost twice as much as the wagers on this year's Super Bowl.
Although the event has not begun, the hype is already building as the best event of the year. The head of research for the AGA, Dave Foreman, sees this event superior to the Super Bowl, saying, quote, "March Madness is the biggest and most mainstream betting event of the year, especially with the brackets," end quote.
If you're wondering about the types of wagers, research firms from Ehlers and Krejcik Gaming has the estimates. About 30 to 40% of bets on the men's tournament will come in-game, and 5% will be generated from same-game parlays. 5 to 10% of sportsbook revenues could also be cut due to the recent bans on pro bets in Ohio and Maryland.
In the men's side, sports bettors are looking forward to the UConn Huskies as they are the betting favorite to win the whole tournament with a plus 450 odds at ESPN Bet. On the women's side, the South Carolina Gamecocks are the most promising bet with minus 130 odds.
NFL fans have seen a crazy week in free agent signings, trades, and retirements. Running back Derrick Henry signed a 2-year, $16 million deal with the Baltimore Ravens after spending 8 seasons with the Titans. The Titans replaced Henry by signing former Cowboys running back Tony Pollard and added wide receiver Calvin Ridley. The Los Angeles Chargers traded wideout Keenan Allen to the Chicago Bears for a 2024 fourth-round pick. The Bears also traded away quarterback Justin Fields to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 2025 conditional day 3 pick. The Rams defensive tackle Aaron Donald announced on Friday he will be retiring after 10 NFL seasons. There is still over a month until the 2024 draft on April 25th, and we can still see more signings and blockbuster trades before the big day.
The CSUF Titans played the Buckeyes this past week. Here's Matt Rosoff with the news.
The Titans welcomed the Ohio State Buckeyes to town for a non-conference matchup on Wednesday night at Goodwin Field. Ohio State scored on a sac fly in the first inning, but the Titans came back right away with 7 runs of their own. Marcos Rosales stepped up to the plate with the bases loaded in the home half of the inning and knocked in 2 runs with an RBI single. The very next batter, Colby Wallace, added 2 of his own to make it 4-1 Titans. Nico Regino and Jared Snyder added 2 more runs in the inning with separate RBI singles.
The Titans led by a score of 7-1 after the first inning of play, but the Ohio State offense would respond by scoring runs in 4 of the next 5 innings, including the go-ahead hit by right fielder Mitchell Oakley in the top of the 6th inning to give the Buckeyes the lead for good, 10-8.
The Titans were close to scoring in the 6th and 8th innings. They had base runners at second and third base with 1 out, but Ohio State's bullpen recorded consecutive strikeouts in both instances to preserve their 2-run lead. The Buckeyes added to their lead with a key RBI hit by Oakley, his 5th of the game, to bring the score to 13-8 in the top of the 9th. OSU called upon relief pitcher Justin Eckhart to finish the game. He allowed 2 runs and loaded the bases with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning, then ended the game with back-to-back strikeouts. The Titans' record dropped to 7-8, while the Buckeyes advanced to 8-7.
Cal State Fullerton softball opened up conference play this past weekend against UC Davis. The Titans would play a doubleheader to start the series on Friday. In Game 1, Haley Rainey would go 7 innings, giving up just 1 earned run and struck out 6. The Titans would win Game 1 by a final of 5-3. The Titans didn't have the same luck in Game 2 of the doubleheader. Jessica Alcala had the lone RBI hit in the game as the Titans fell to UC Davis 4-1. In the rubber match game on Saturday, the Titans' offense would explode for 9 runs. Haley Rainey only gave up 1 hit on the afternoon, and the Titans would win by a score of 9-0. The Titans took 2 out of 3 games up at UC Davis, and they will continue their road trip this weekend when they visit Cal State Bakersfield.
The CSUF women's tennis team got the brooms rolling last weekend as they double sweep the Gonzaga Bulldogs and Youngstown State Penguins. The sweep began on Friday, defeating the Penguins 7-0 and ended in a 4-0 victory against the Bulldogs on Sunday.
Their Sunday match against the Bulldogs went well, with both the doubles and singles match. Sehayu and Milena Gevorgian got the ball rolling as they won the opener 6-1. After a loss in the following match, Josie Uzero and Sean McYoung avenged that loss with a tough 6-4. Singles matches would not lose a sweat, winning 4-0 in all matches.
The Titans Friday match was almost identical, coming out strong in the double matches. The only difference from Sunday would be that they did not give up a match, as Myung finished the sweep with her matches being 6-3, 4-6, and 6-3, ending the game 7-0. The tennis team must be feeling up in the skies, to the clouds that is.
Throughout the perfect weekend from the Titans, head coach Trang Hyun McLean praises the team's consistent energy against both teams. She says, quote, "I think we have to consistently come out with this energy to be able to continue defending our home. Congratulations on a great weekend, and good luck on your next matches."
All right, Titans, stay tuned. We'll be right back with the roundtable discussion coming up right after the break. All right, so I'd like to begin talking about March Madness. We know that's right around the corner. I actually kind of just want to hear your thoughts. I know we had mentioned that some would say that it's becoming bigger than the Super Bowl, which is kind of a bold statement in my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's becoming bigger than the Super Bowl in terms of the sports betting because it's not even close when it comes to the viewership. If you look at the statistics, 123.7 million viewers for the Super Bowl this past year. The NCAA championship for the men's last year drew in about 14.7 million. Mm-hmm. So there's not even a close second or third or fourth or fifth. But when it comes to the betting, I do think that it's going to be the most popular event to do so. And why is that? It's because we know that this is the most unpredictable tournament there is in professional sports. I know it's in the collegiate level, but I like to categorize them together when it comes to betting. It's the easiest way to make your money because there's upsets, and that's what makes this tournament so historic. And speaking about upsets, I'm going to say right now, I'm calling it right now, Long Beach State is going to do an upset against Arizona. They're going to represent the Big West, and we're going to make it to the next round. I believe that.
What do you have to say?
I like that. I'll bet on that upset too. Not betting money, but I will. I agree. I'm gonna stay out of that for now. But yeah, I think March Madness, like betting, has just become such a big thing because it seems like everyone does a bracket, right? Whether it's for fun or you actually have money on it. It's like your friend group, your office does a bracket. Everyone's doing it. And even though that might not be recorded as like online bets, it's still just adding to kind of the whole collective betting for the tournament. So, yeah, I think that in terms of betting, I think it's definitely becoming a bigger deal than the Super Bowl.
No, I would agree as well. I'm never going to compare it to the level of the Super Bowl. I know you pointed out the numbers with the viewership. I do believe in terms of like intensity and things like that. Like as somebody like me, I haven't followed college basketball as much, but when it comes to March Madness, I'm always locked in on the games because it's like it's so entertaining regardless of the teams. There's always at least one upset. And it's really interesting to see kind of just like who might, because like there was the story, I believe it was like Loyola Marymount or whatever that college was in Chicago, or I believe that like made it to, I believe, the Final Four.
Yeah, it was a private Catholic school, correct?
Yeah, and it's like, it's crazy. Those are like feel good stories. You like to see underdog stories. So I'm excited to see that happen. In terms of me, at least, I'm doing friendly brackets. No wagers here, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see what I could do because it's kind of just like completely random. So I kind of want to see how mine are. Do you guys plan on filling out any brackets?
Absolutely. I'm gonna fill it out, but I do have UConn going all the way. What about you guys?
I haven't really considered mine yet. I don't think I'll go against any friends or anything, but I might fill one out.
Yeah,
just to see.
I think we're all in agreement, just for fun. Let's fill it out, see how
That's
far
just
we
for
go.
fun.
Yeah.
All right. Now, speaking of really fun things, NFL free agency has been insane. This is the craziest I've seen it in years in terms of like big names going everywhere. You saw so many players who have been on the fence with these teams for years, and you're finally seeing them move on and signing with different teams. I have a list here. Just actually earlier today, the Jets got Mike Williams. The Eagles got Saquon Barkley. The Ravens got Derrick Henry. The Steelers got both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. The Texans got their running back and Joe Mixon. The Titans also got Tony Pollard. The Chiefs got Hollywood or Marquise Brown. The Raiders got Christian Wilkins, and the Packers, funny enough, got Josh Jacobs. So that's a kind of a Raider way. They took a W and a L hours apart from each other, but.
Yep.
They also noticed the Bears got Keenan Allen, the Commanders got Austin Eckler, the Vikings got Aaron Jones. If you're talking about like running backs, Packers got Jacobs, their division rival now has Aaron Jones, and of course to top it all off, the Falcons got Kirk Cousins. So I want to hear from you guys. Which signing do you think was the biggest, or like it will be the biggest for the respective team that they joined?
I'm gonna go with the two quarterbacks that got picked up by Pittsburgh. We were talking about. No one saw that coming. Russell Wilson, I mean, he's getting paid veteran minimum. They're getting him on super cheap contract money. It's only a one-year deal. You look at what Coach Tomlin is doing right now. He's not taking that much of a risk. So he has a veteran quarterback who's, I believe, has 10 Pro Bowls, Super Bowl champion. I mean, he had a really, statistically speaking, he had a good season with the Broncos. And I think that with that team, he can make some noise. Definitely got the attention of the media. And then just picking up another quarterback from the Bears to see, just in case if Russell Wilson doesn't work out, they have a backup. They have the future of that franchise, assuming that he can, take that role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I also think I really like seeing Kirk Cousins in Atlanta. Honestly, for me,
Hey, we know he's iced up, though. Quavo's got him hooked up.
Yeah, and he got his payday.
Absolutely, yeah. But, I don't really follow the Vikings that much, but in this past season, the injury for Kirk was a heartbreaker. And just to see him kind of go out like that. But I think this is really a great fresh start for him. And, yeah, I think he'll find a good home in Atlanta. And then one other one, too, you mentioned Hollywood Brown for the Chiefs. I'm liking that as well, just to give Mahomes kind of a better target, a deeper target for passes and stuff. They had, I think, the most dropped catches in the NFL, if I remember correctly, this past season. Yeah. They had a really big issue with that. So hoping that Hollywood Brown can help with that issue and give Mahomes a reliable target.
Of course, and he actually has like a reliable target now that you mentioned, and it's like that's one of the things. It doesn't seem to matter for Mahomes because as a Niner fan, I still see that final touchdown in my nightmares every night. But, regardless, I think out of all these trades that have happened, one that I actually really have my eye on that I don't think a lot of people are talking about is Joe Mixon to the Texans, because that is an emerging team. We have C.J. Stroud, you have Tank Dell also. And I believe also Nico Hollins. I'm not 100% sure if I got that right, but I know for sure Tank Dell has been a big target of his. And what they had Singletary, but they've been missing that running back. And I feel like now that they have him in the backfield and C.J. Stroud, I'm really excited to see where that goes. Amongst all these other trades, I feel like Derrick Henry going to the Ravens is huge, but it also just like they already have they're starting to develop a good team there, and especially with the Eagles getting Barkley, they already have their receivers, and so now they get their running back. But I feel like this was really important for the Texans to take that next step, because right now they're a team that might make it past divisional if they're lucky, but like that's kind of what we saw what they were able to do, and that was kind of without having a superstar running back. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
Yeah, and you see what the Texans are doing. I like to call them silent killers.
Exactly.
Right? They're not making too much noise in the offseason. They're not getting the full attention of the media, but they're making their team stronger overnight. And then before you know it, they're going to make it in the playoffs, and that quarterback has a future. And for how long he's been in the league, he's showing veteran leadership, and they're just adding the weapons to him. So I think there'll be a threat coming down for years to come.
Yeah. I really think, this is just crazy to me, because like this free agency, like I had mentioned before, I haven't seen anything quite like it in a while. I feel like we've always seen a few big names, but this many big names. Right. A big talk was with running backs. There was a lot of disrespect going on with running backs. Some getting Barkley got, how many times did he get franchise tagged by the Giants before he finally had enough and left? People are mad at him because he joined a division rival. I'm like, he did what he needed to do. I mean, he was in a spot where he was being held back, and to see Mixon, Derrick Henry, Pollard, and Barkley, 4 big name running backs, and you have Josh Jacobs too. To see all of them go to different teams, I think shows that they've had enough. And it's Josh Jacobs talked about loyalty to teams. It's there's no loyalty in the NFL anymore. I agree with what Josh Jacobs said, because these teams or these organizations treat it like a business. So why can't they treat it like business?
And you look at what happened to Keenan Allen. He was a veteran leader. They call him the last San Diego Charger. And after all that he did for the organization, it was a 4th round pick that they got from the Bears.
They basically traded him for a bag of chips.
For a bag of chips, and it's you see where it's there is no loyalty unless you're that 1% of top tier talent. And someone like Keenan Allen, who still was showing great moves. I mean, he had that spiral catch last year that was SportsCenter top 10. To see him leave, that was the one that hurt me the most. And I'm not even a Chargers fan, but to see that the franchise is really going in a different direction and they had to part ways with him, I know a lot of Charger fans are sad about that.
Yeah. All right. Now moving on to our very own baseball team. So the biggest thing I want to talk about is that's been the biggest concern so far has been pitching. As a team, across all of our pitchers, a team ERA around 4.45 across 152 and 2/3 inning pitch. There are some we have certain pitchers whose ERAs it is a smaller sample size on the season, but it is alarmingly high. And I feel like that game against Ohio State was proving that our bullpen and pitching needs a lot of work. So I really just want to know what bullpen games. We know we have those during the week. They have one tonight. From what we've seen and what what do you really think they need to focus on?
I think you hit it right on the dime. It's their bullpen. I mean, they had such a large lead against Ohio State.
It was 7-1.
Yeah, we've been covering them.
And they were up, I believe, 9-3 over the past weekend against UC San Diego.
Right,
and they lost 10-9.
So we see that the problem is that they keep losing these large leads, and it's not just a lead, but a large lead at that. And their bullpen has been struggling. And this is a key game that they're going to be playing up against University of San Diego, because although they're a private school and their program isn't as recognized, they've had some good dubs. They've beat, I believe they beat Texas. They also they beat Arizona and Michigan. So they really need to figure out their situation with their bullpen. And because after this game against University of San Diego, they're going against teams that are the lower tier of our conference. So this is their chance to really develop themselves and their identity before they have their big games against the top tier teams of the Big West, and before they go to Angel Stadium playing UCLA later this year, which I know that the team is excited for. But in order to get that identity that I know that the coaches are looking for, they're really going to have to redevelop and restructure that bullpen for these next 10 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think to add to that, right now they're sitting just under 500 for win percentage. I think they're 8-10, if I remember correctly. But just it made me think a little bit about the basketball team this season. They kind of hung around that 500 win percentage for most of the season, but they had that winner against Long Beach State right at the end. And even though they didn't make it, into March Madness, that was kind of a boost right at the end of the season when they had kind of made some fixes and that kind of thing. So I think if they made all the fixes that you're talking about with their pitching and everything, I could see hopefully CSUF baseball having a boost just like that later in their season too.
Yeah, I am very hopeful for this team still, and I do wish them the best of luck moving on for the game tonight and all the other games that we have upcoming, because we do have some winnable games upcoming, and we see the potential with this team.
Yeah.
All right, Titans, that is all we have time for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Colin Costigan.
Hope to see you all again soon. I'm Francisco Molina.
And I'm Eddie Bruegger. Give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter if you haven't already at Titan TV CSUF to keep you updated on all things sports.